Jason Venables, and sorry, something popped up there saying I had to tell you they're being recorded. Jason, you're being recorded, so I had to tell you that, and the audience that who are being recorded here. So hi, Jason, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. So I've known you for a while on Facebook, and you've been doing a lot of amazing things for a long time. You're on your own journey, right? One of them recently that stands out to me, and you do a lot of the same things as myself, and we'll get to know you and you explain why. But one of the things that did stand out is recently you've come off the back of quite a considerable length fast. Would you love to explain to us how you got into that position and why you even undertook? Why did you feel it necessary to do this?
Basically, I've just my body's been calling for a long break from liquids, and it wasn't a plan. It wasn't a what someone deem an ego fast, which is I'm going to fast. It was just I was getting mucus from everything essentially. I even got mucus from melons, which is the least mucus forming of fruits. So I just decided to give it a break, chill down the inflammation in my body, and try and figure out what was wrong. I'd done urine fasting before, and I mean, I think within the first 2 weeks of me learning about urine therapy, I did a 15-day fast.
Wow. Cool. How long ago is this when you started learning about it? How long are we talking about? How old are you?
Pardon?
How old were you when you started learning about urine therapy? How long ago was this fast? Is it a long time ago?
The fast was only a year ago.
Oh, right. So you're kind of new
not
to
a year, but when I was 26, so it wasn't last December, but the December before when I did the fast.
Okay, cool. Okay. And you did a 2-day 15-day fast straight away. That's quite most people take their time. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. So that's quite cool that you just went straight into the a 15-day urine fast. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard about the urine therapy, I wasn't disgusted by it, wasn't it? I literally woke up in the morning, just pissed out about, I don't know, a pint to a litre, and just drank the whole thing. I was like, oh, it's not disgusting, because I'd been on fruit. I mean, I had done a load of different dietary experiments, but I'd just gone back to fruit because that's where my digestion felt most comfortable. And so, yeah, just like, why not?
Yeah, so it couldn't have been that much of a shock because I came from tap water to urine. That was a massive shock from health, and yours was probably a bit more subtle because fruits has the kind of distilled structured water too. Then that was a bit of an easing into the process, not a massive like whoa.
Yeah, and I'd been on the distilled water train for a while as well, so that wasn't that. It wasn't a big shock. It was just there's even more energy than I realized in my own piss.
Yeah, right. And why did you undergo these fasts? What is the underlying issues that brought you to this community and made you motivated to do such long fasts? What's the problem?
Well, funny enough, I had underlying conditions which I didn't realize what they were. I'd had insomnia since I was about 17, 18, when I started university, when I started getting a lot more stress in my life. And I'd always had IBS since I was like a young teen, so 12, 13, which is a bit annoying for a 12, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it was just, I always had a tendency towards like severe sunburns, nosebleeds, just stuff like that, just stuff which the average person doesn't doesn't get. And it was just trying to figure out and get a understanding and understanding of what's wrong with my body, what's blocking my body. I don't like saying what's wrong, because when you put wrong on something, then you always put a negative on it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one to think of actually for people. Instead of saying what's wrong, what's blocking the truth, or what's blocking the purity that we all know we have inside us, our potential. I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of issues. That's funny enough. We've all got our little stories, isn't it, of what made us like really rock bottom. So you probably growing up, had all these problems that other children didn't have. So that motivated you to try and think, I don't want IBS. I want to sleep. I want to have health. I want to have physical, you know, all these things, and you're looking around the kids probably thinking, how do I get that? So that's brought you kind of into the weird world of you're in therapy, fasting, breatharianism. You can touch on that in a bit too, and dry fasting and all these kind of things, which is crazy.
Yeah, I was quite surprised, really. I mean, I think I finally pinned down what's wrong with me,
Mm.
because
Hmm.
a lot of the, well, basically every single symptom which I have is basically exactly a reflection of some level of liver disease, essentially.
Liver disease. Okay. Hmm.
So I remember going to the acupuncturist at one time,
Hmm.
and this was just after the crash, so just after I'd gone through some severe strain and all that, and she put the needle in my liver meridian, and I had some of the most excruciating pain which I'd ever experienced in my life.
Hmm. Hmm.
and and I didn't really think about it at the time, because it's a year later till I've actually realised. But yeah, I realised how much of a swollen liver I have. In fact, I've
Yeah.
done some tests recently. As
Hmm.
much as I am, I'm a advocate for a completely plant-based, fruit-based lifestyle, if not
Hmm.
beyond that. But I, I tried doing some liver flushing,
Yeah.
and a softer liver flush which you can use is an egg yolk liver flush.
Oh, not heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, but unfortunately in the UK you can't get actual natural good quality farm raised eggs.
Huh.
With You get all the soy crap and all that, but the basic thing is that you dislodge all toxins through apple juice and through egg yolks, and
Huh. Huh.
basically stirs it up, and then you, like, on the morning, you just have egg yolks with olive oil and lemon juice,
Hmm.
and spasm your liver and cause any stones to come out.
Hmm.
And because I'd tried some of the Andreas Moritz liver flushes before, which is just Epsom
Hmm.
salts, all that, and that had just like shocked my system a bit too much and messed me up for a
Hmm.
few days, sleep and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
supposedly a softer one,
Yeah.
and with the mass amounts of it, with a decent quantity of eggs and apple juice and all that. Because I went an apple juice fast with the egg yolks, my
Huh.
liver became more and more inflamed, and like my brain function started going down, and
Hmm.
I couldn't speak properly. So
Huh.
at that point, I realised how damaged my liver is. That even possibly to the level of a level of cirrhosis. So like
Hmm.
serious damage. Doesn't mean it can't be fixed. I have faith in my body, but
Yeah.
it, it's I've gone to the point. Well, I've gotten to the point mentally that I just can't force my body to do anything. I mean,
Yeah. Hmm.
even like, because I was doing coffee enemas and I got benefit from them, because that just basically gives you a bit of relief, but it was never a fix. It was kind of a temporary, like a patch, a
Yeah.
little
Like drugs maybe covering up the problem for a bit, but then not really fixing the root cause. Maybe surface level. Maybe I don't know.
yeah, precisely. And that was the one thing
That's an
which I
interesting
didn't.
theory, that what you just said there. Maybe coffee enemas for everyone. I'm open-minded to everything. I haven't tried coffee enemas. I've heard good. I've heard bad. I've not tried it. So maybe coffee enemas are actually like a stimulant, like they say meats are a stimulant actually, and maybe they're just I don't know, but maybe they're like covering up and stimulating, but not really detoxing the enemas and the coffee.
They,
I don't.
they do detox.
They do.
It just depends on how seized up your liver is,
Mm.
because I've known cases of people. Well, I've read about cases of people who've had liver cancer,
Mm.
and for them, and you got to remember, the mind is very much connected to the body. So if something doesn't resonate with your own philosophy and with
Mm.
your own journey, it will not work for you. So for
Yeah.
me, I've done the coffee enemas, I've done the liver flushing, I've done all. Well, what else have I done? I've done the raw carnivore diet. I've done the fruitarian diet. I've
Mm.
done the urine fasting. I've done the aged urine. I've done the 1 meal a day, the 6 meals a day, the 1 meal every other day. I've done
Yeah.
it all,
All right. Yeah.
and and I when I actually started just well, in fact, it was coming from reading the Tao Te Ching by Lao
Mm.
Tzu when I actually
Mm.
came to realize that is my path, the simplicity and the patience and the compassion,
Mm.
because I never gained anything from every force has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you force the body to detox, aka liver flushes, coffee enemas, then you'll have an equal rebound and you won't be stable. And
Mm.
I basically come to the point when my body is at such a bad place. Well, not
Mm.
bad, I'm not saying, but it's such a congested place that I've either got to live life, get stressed and die young, or be patient, live life slow and heal, basically.
Yeah, come up slowly, and instead of rushing it and not enjoying your process, because I feel like a lot of people rush things and want. I've seen you post about this against people, and you're right. Like people rush and want results quickly, and they want to go through the hardcore stuff and push their bodies to the limits. And maybe even a part of me is talking to myself here, because I know in the past, even now, there's a part of me that still does want to do that. But I'm getting better. I've certainly eased up the tiller a lot in my life and realised that it's all about the fun of the journey. So if if I'm not perfect with diet, not perfect with fasting, not perfect with all my therapies that I know I should be doing, like I'm just ease up on myself. I don't judge myself as badly as I used to. I think it's a work in progress. And actually, you talked about something interesting. Tao Te Ching, is that what it says? Just a non-doing, like accepting the moment, like.
Yeah, accepting, living in the moment, accepting the moment. And there's, I've forgotten what chapter or whatever verse it is, but it's when you lose when we forget the intelligence of the body, we rely on knowledge.
Yeah. Hmm.
And for me, and that knowledge is the age during the coffee enemas,
Hmm.
and all that, going down that path. That is the knowledge. Oh, I can use this tool, this tool, this tool, and
Yeah.
they're fantastic tools once for a lot of people. And it's just understanding that they are tools and not. It's always a need. And I
Hmm.
need to do my coffee enema. I need to have my age during. I need to
Yeah.
do this. Need to do that. When you actually sit down and breathe and understand that you need nothing, that
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
that is the most amazing feeling that I can actually explain. That
Yeah.
even though I have probably, well, again, I probably do. I'm not. I gave up on the NHS years ago when they gave up on me. They literally said, just
Hmm.
come back to us in 6 months
Hmm.
and see what's
Hmm.
happened.
Right. That's yeah. Don't care. They don't care about people they can't heal or their version of healing. I guess they don't know how to heal you. They'll just give up. I guess. Hmm.
Yeah, precisely. So now it's to the best of my ability. I just listen to my body and
Yeah.
just listen to what it needs. And it's funny how when you actually listen to the universe and let it flow through you, you can, like, things just pop up and you just can't. They're inexplicable. So I was out for a walk yesterday and it was a bit muddy. So I was like, I'll skip the woods. It's going to be a bit too muddy. So I came back around and then I was like, oh man, it's going to be a muddy bit down here, but that's all right. And there happened to be a stick, a stick about 5.5 foot tall, perfect for me. Felt like flipping Gandalf walking down the road.
Oh. Yeah.
But no, and before I even saw the mud, I saw the stick. I was like, I'll take that. I might need it. So I took it with me. Didn't get any more mud on my feet.
Hmm. Nice. Huh.
And and just simple things like that you just can't explain. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many synchronicities as well, which
They happen a
the
lot,
best
don't
thing,
they?
you don't want
They
to be
happen.
looking for them,
They happen
because
so
again,
many.
that's ego.
Yeah,
Pardon?
they happen so many times to us. Like I've heard so many stories that just again and again. This is why I find them hard to disbelieve, because at first you're like maybe cynical and you think there's a scientific chance that they can happen, but then if they just keep happening again and again and again, almost like if you want to believe in angels, guides, spirits, other dimensional beings watching you and trying to connect you with your higher self, or remind you, whatever you believe in them, reminding you that there are other things out there and you're a divine being and you're being guided. I like to think that might be wrong. I don't even know. I just know that there's something going on that's way bigger than what we are, and it's lovely. It's a lovely reminder, because I feel like as well, Jonathan, they come in when we need them the most. Synchronicities happen when we need them the most. Like sometimes when we're grateful, they don't happen because we're reminded, we're guided. But when we need them, they happen. I love that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think is that. Well, because I haven't been sleeping for like 10 years, but properly for 10 years, that I've you don't have those the masses of dreams and the and stuff like that. But as soon as I started really listening to my body, and like the one thing that I had wanted to get for ages was a grounding sheet for my bed. Like it's got a grounding bag, it's a sleeping bag, and I was like, you know what, it's expensive, but I've got savings, and I'll just do it. As soon as I got it, and as soon as I started doing about more breath work, more sun gaze and all that, I've been sleeping like 8 hours a night.
Nice. Transformation of sleep with sun gazing, you're saying grounding, and breath work, those three.
Yeah. And also going out for walks and stuff as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. One is powerful. If you add, you're combining a lot of different health therapies that we love here that, would manifest in just your greatest version of yourself. And then sleep is so important. People underrate sleep. I think we don't talk about it much in the health community because we assume everyone's nailed it. It's just the masses that haven't. But yeah, sleep is super important. Like I can't emphasize that enough. Wow, you if that's fucked up, you're not really a physically healthy person. I don't care how much you think you are, right?
Yeah, I mean that was the one thing that made me kind of stop the fast, because I wasn't sleeping properly, and I mean I wasn't hungry, wasn't any of that, because.
Do you think that you weren't sleeping properly, or do you think that you don't need to sleep as much when you fast? That's me bringing my own opinion.
You don't need to sleep as much, but it's the quality of it's the quality of sleep you need, you know, but also especially when you've got a sick body. If you're a sick person, you should be sleeping when fasting. If you look at Dr. Villanove's book on dry fasting, like the people who were doing the hard dry fasts for 5 days, they would sleep. They would have no problem sleeping. So you should easily get to sleep when fasting. But
can I just emphasize that point with people? Because I'm learning here too, and I forgot that, and maybe I did know that at one point. I feel like I did, I just forgotten. Yeah. So if you're a really ill person and you do dry fasting, it won't give you less sleep. You'll recover. You'll get more sleep. Whereas if you're kind of physically okay, like I'm lucky that I am now, or I haven't been in the past. I need less sleep when I fast. But yeah, you need more. That's to remind people. Yeah, it's a good point that you just said there. It's a great one.
Yeah, and that was why I just stopped the fast, because I was like, right, I'm going to see if I can figure out what's the problem with why I'm not sleeping. So I'd been thinking about going to the chiropractor for ages, and I realized that when I went to them, they didn't understand the condition at all, and they basically I didn't sleep for 2 days after going to them.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because of pain, which I went in, they really inflamed the muscles and stuff like that. So I was like, but again, the chiropractor is a form of force, and not
what's that? Chiropractor is a form of what?
Force. You're forcing things back rather than allowing the body to correct itself. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that it can actually be your organs which are causing your skeletal structure to be twisted and contorted. So I've found that basically in fact, with the breath work and with the conscious, I do like calling it conscious fasting. Breath work and conscious fasting, I've actually found that my postures begin to correct itself and stuff like that. So it is something which people need to actually be very conscious of, is that you can keep going to the chiropractor all the time, but unless you fix the underlying problem, which is normally a blockage in an organ or unhealthy organ, then you're always going to be going back to the chiropractor. It's good if you have an accident and say you've popped a disc out or something, or your shoulder out, and that's fine and you recover quick. But for the serious underlying conditions, such as like your liver cirrhosis, your liver disease, your chronic fatigue, your ME and stuff like that, you really can't be forcing things, because the body is highly acidic.
Yeah. Would you say yoga's a kind of gentler way of chiropractic, or is that not a good idea either?
Oh no, yoga's great, but you've got to listen to the body and not stretch it too far.
Okay,
I haven't been doing too much. Well, I was doing some yoga on the actually, I was doing Wim Hof every day with the yoga with the yoga poses he recommends every day. So that was fine. It was just at the moment I've been focusing more on just pure breath work and doing some walking. but I might get back into doing a bit of yoga again. But I've really found that you need to be very patient. Well, again, it's the simplicity and patience. As soon as you start thinking, oh, I need to do this to fix this, it's like, no, what you need to do is be still.
Yeah.
And simple. Just
Yeah.
let everything be simple.
You know, I'm coming to mindfulness finally. I've dabbled with mindfulness. I've known about it for a long time before I got into physical health. Now, I've after the Vipassana, during the Vipassana, I've come to a place where not only do I know about it, but I'm ready to commit fully and integrate mindfulness into my entire being and life so I can teach other people. And I realized that a lot of my problems weren't fixed by fasting for a long period of time, which I did over there. The Vipassana did a lot more than the dry fasting when I was doing 2 to 3 days empty. I didn't want to believe it, but it's true. And the Vipassana, a lot of it's mindfulness, concentration. So I'm coming to the belief in my own healing that the body's all powerful, and actually it ties in with what we're going to talk about with you in a bit, like a bit of emptiness. Mindfulness and presence can go a long way, and non-doing almost, because it's almost not doing. You mean you practice mindfulness, but it's really a non-doing thing. It's not a doing thing at all. And I like the idea that it's something that was our gift that we lost, the present moment, and we can always tap into it. So it's not something we do really, it's something that we were, that we're just remembering to come back to. And in that way, I feel like I can heal my body through mindfulness and all the things that we're going to talk about as well, breatharianism and dry fasting. So
yeah, that is the goal really, to do everything the most simplest way. And in my opinion, the best way to get into the present moment is with breath.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So you do a lot of breath work, and you're big on the breath. Do you mind running us by why you think the breath's so important? Why you spend like hours at a time? 2 hours, I think you said this morning, doing 2 hours of breath work. 4 hours of breath work. Please tell us why you commit to breath work, why it's important, and which breath work styles you're doing.
Well, at the moment, well, I'll put a bit of a shout out to Salvador, the airbender.
Yeah, we know Guy.
I basically started the fast around the same time as his breathwork 30-day breathwork challenge. So I was doing his breath all the way through, and also Wim Hof as well. But no, it was during the fast which I really started appreciating how much the breath work gave me peace in my mind and just allowed me to be in the present. But even now, I've even let go of like the counting and stuff like that, and I don't actually. I mean, I'll go through and follow some of the techniques, but I'll just allow them to flow through me rather than sitting there counting. I'll let say like bottle breathing. So you'll inhale through your stomach, go through your ribs and up to the top of your lungs, to your trachea and all that, and then you'll flow down. So again, it's a wave. As everything, it's just waves. So if you breathe, it's one of the wave breath techniques which I enjoy, which I like, and yeah, I actually. I think it's Tumo breath work. So it's more of the Taoist breath work, which is just allowing the body to teach you how to breathe. So I'll inhale because, and you got to remember that when your body's in a worse state, you'll need to inhale more. If you inhale and hold more, you're receiving more and taking on more, and so you'll be charging up the body that way. Whereas when you're, say, doing Wim Hof, that is very cooling, and it's the contrast. You got Tumo versus Wim Hof, so it's understanding the difference between being full and being empty, which is why I discovered this morning that you can't sun gaze when doing Tumo because you're inhaling and you've got no space to be taking anything else on. So if you, whereas I actually switched up the technique to, as I said, I did the bottle breathing and then emptied out. So it's more of a yin yang bottle breathe, and then you let it all out. And I found I was perfectly fine gazing at it, and that was later in the day, so it's technically more intense.
Yeah, ironic, huh? Yeah. Oh, you've been enjoying the sun weather the past few days. You did midday sun gazing too, have you? I don't know if there's solar noon.
Not sun gazing because again, it can be a bit intense for my eyes, because obviously the eyes and the liver.
But, yeah, that's true. Very good point. That. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll get about 2 hours of sun gazing in the morning and probably an hour and a half in the evening. So
Cool.
that's
Sunsets, well.
that's quite
Right.
nice. No, I sunbathed for 2 hours this afternoon.
Nice. Yeah, it's been nice and warm over here too. Like 14 degrees is a lot for us. People like 14 degrees, but actually 40 degrees in the summer sun with no clouds is really actually quite hot. I loved it. Also, another thing with mindfulness I've been doing quickly is I've been thinking of the heat. So, the sun heats our skin up, especially if we're naked and stuff, or whatever part, even just the face. I just focus in on that. Instead of letting the mind wander, I really accept the heat as it is and the feelings. Like if the cold wind comes on my face, I'll just try and be in the moment. I'm practicing mindfulness with sun gazing and I'm finding a lot of benefits. Much like breath work, I guess, puts you in that mindfulness state too. Surely breakfast does the same thing. It puts you in the moment. And we don't want to be in the moment most of the time because our brain's conditioned not to be. So.
Yeah, I would say that Tumo is a great breath work to do when you're sunbathing because it keeps, well, especially in the cold. I mean, that's why I did 2 hours of Tumo breath work whilst sunbathing, and that keeps you warm.
Yeah.
Especially as with a not so good liver, obviously the liver is the center of your heat, so I can have a tendency for cold extremities and stuff. So again, it's just listen to the body, and I mean with the Tumo, it's as simple as you inhale fully your stomach, your ribs, and all that, and then you hold that as long as you can,
As long as you can.
which is not about. It depends on the person, but like 20 to 30 seconds is good. Then you
Yeah.
exhale and then you hold that for about 8 seconds. You're trying to master the minute breath, and as the longer and
So
longer
wait,
you, the
30,
more
20
you
seconds,
do it.
20, inhale and 20, 30 seconds, try as hard as you can, and then exhale 8 seconds, did you say? On the exhale, how long are you holding for?
On the exhale, so you inhale, hold for 20, 30 seconds. Don't push it. Don't, again, no force. No force. And then exhale and hold that, and hold the emptiness for about 8 seconds if you can.
Okay, cool, cool. 80 or 80, did you say? Eight.
8.
8, okay, full. 80, okay, 8 seconds, that's cool. And then you start again a cycle and you just keep recycling,
Yeah.
doing that again and again. Oh, that would work.
So
That makes sense to me. In holding the breath, which is very powerful, the kumbhaka, the yogis call it, isn't it? The retention of breath being a very powerful healing modality, and yeah, doing a lot of amazing things for the body, charging up, like you said, and yeah, I stopped doing. I should get back on breath holds. It's very powerful. So thanks for reminding me to do some.
I'm pretty much doing a minute or more breath per breath now.
Oh wow, yeah, that's that, and obviously the longer you do it, the more healthy you are, according to Butieko. I think that's correct. More oxygen in your body, so yeah, that means you're really at a high level of emptiness, which is pretty cool. High level of health for you, your version of high level of health, So
Yeah, precisely. And again, it is just the patience and all that, but it has been a frustrating journey, and I've had
yeah,
lots and lots of crazy things happening over the past like about 8 months. Just a lot of things, and things were downhill. A lot of stress relative for me, which just made because after the 15-day fast, I was improving and all that, and I'd started getting my energy back. I started sleeping better. So evidently my liver wasn't in the state that it was in now. And then it went all the way back, pretty much went back. Well, not went back. I had a lot of alcohol, but started having more alcohol, having more often not so optimal foods and stuff, which led to full body inflammation. That's one thing that people will argue is like, oh, you're not eating enough, you're not doing this, you look at you stick thin.
yeah.
If you eat a food and it reduces your flexibility, you should not be eating that food.
Oh, I like that. So you're saying instead of judging people on emaciation and skeletal, you're saying if you do yoga and you're suddenly your body, your muscles are way stiffer, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. So I've, and again, it was like even like cooked seafood, like cooked grains, cooked. I was getting stiffness from cooked white potatoes, cooked sweet potatoes,
Right. Yeah.
like that, which supposedly mucusless. So, and I didn't digest a single thing. The pigments came in and went out exactly the same.
Wow.
So, I in fact, and what was it, last Saturday? Yeah, last Saturday. I
Mm.
had papaya. It came in and went out smelling and looking exactly the same.
Nice.
So if anyone wants to argue with me that we need food,
Yeah.
and yet all I've eaten over the past,
Yeah.
Sundays, yeah, so the past 3.5 days is probably about 500 calories worth of honey and like, I don't know, well, probably about 1,500 calories worth total of honey and coconut water.
So no solids, just honey and coconut water for 3.5 days, and you're still here and talking to me. Crazy.
Yeah, I just didn't see any point in actually. Well, if a food gives me mucus, there's no point in me consuming it.
Yeah.
Which is why I got sad about the oranges.
What? You saying oranges produce mucus now? I didn't know this.
Oh no! I didn't actually realise that I was produced. Well, I didn't want to accept that I was producing mucus from oranges.
Were you? Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they were. And I don't know. I thought they were Eritz's mucusless forming fruits, all of them, oranges for everybody. Are you saying there's? How does that work then? Is that saying for some people it's? Are we saying body types react differently? Sometimes if you're more damaged constitutionally, physically, you can't handle mucus. Sometimes they become mucus forming when they're not. Is that what you're saying?
I think your body could be in such a bad state that it will refuse essentially everything, and that you'll be again. I'm going to be making a video on it, but it's again a bit of etymology which just comes to my mind after all the fasting, the sun gazing, and all that. But if you have reviled in life, so if you've criticized others, if you've been angry and stuff like that, you'll be delivered unto death. So your liver will be destroyed and you will die. So it is very much and that's what I was. I was the asshole from the entire, well, for a lot of the past like decade, and people just didn't like me. I mean, I've come to terms with the fact that I probably got some level of Asperger's, which is, again, I only recently realised over the past few days, but which gives me my my ability to detach from reality and just accept certain things and just know certain things. Like I can't. And again, with like all the numbers, I see numbers in everything. I've seen tons of numbers and numbers sequences and things like that. So it's and also I made a video recently on what things are more healing for which people on where you are on the spectrum of autism, and I found that the most healing thing for me is laughter. I find so many things hilarious, and it's not. I've always been. If you find something, I've never been like one to just release all the laughter and stuff like that, because I've always felt like I shouldn't be laughing at stuff. You're always programmed. You shouldn't be laughing at things. But the greatest medicine for me has been laughter. But
I love that.
It's strange though that where like realizing, come to terms with like the Asperger's and stuff like that. You just you can't. Again, it comes to the self-acceptance. It's when you truly.
It what makes you special, I think. It's what makes you special. What makes you. We've all got special stories that fucked us up, and that's just your gift now. You're giving to the world, and actually, I don't feel like it impedes you very much because you're very eloquently spoken, and you know how to empathize and get your message across. So anything, it doesn't impede. It just gives out you as, like you said, someone that was aware to the information and realities of life, and deprogramming easier from the Matrix because you were born in the Matrix like me, so you had to deprogram. So decided. But it's easier for you, people like you and me, to do that because of Asperger's, because of autism, because of damage, depression, bipolar, and all these kind of things, I feel.
Yeah, and I think it's one thing that people can't contemplate. It's why I'm planning, hopefully, on doing the 3 months on 3 months till on like a solo trip in wild camping and all that, because it's I tend to clash very much, and I stirred up a lot of stuff in my past and stuff like that with, or the religion which I left, and that, and that has really, well, again, is I understand like all the zodiacs and stuff and how it works. Like I'm like Native American speaking, zodiac speaking, I'm a snake, and evidently that was something which I needed to shed. And now I'm liberated from that. Now I've had the supposed huge energy shift, which unsurprisingly happened on the equinox.
Yeah.
And also the equinox was the 21st anniversary of my dad's death.
Oh wow.
So, like again, huge synchronicities which I can't explain. And also coming to the point of that when he died, I was 6 years old, and the date, the numerology for the date of his death was a 6.
666.
And also the numerology for last, so for the 20th of the 20th of the 3rd, 2020 is a 9, and I'm 27, which 2 plus 7 equals 9.
Yeah.
And at this point is that I've what do you call it? I don't like claiming to be awakened, but for the comparison for me personally, I have awakened from very much from my ego in a way.
Yeah.
Like I fully came to terms with, right, I need to have the patience. I need to literally just just give up and listen to my body and let things flow.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it's a process. Like at the beginning, I remember for me, and I think for a lot of us, it's just a gun ho. I see in other people what I used to be like. I'm not better than them. I'm just a bit more advanced in terms of how long I've been this. So I feel like some people have got you at the beginning, got everything to prove against the world, and you want to help people. So you open your mouth and tell people that won't understand all about your journey and how you know about urine therapy, sun gazing, and you realize people aren't like that. You don't understand it. You just want to enforce on everyone. You want to show people what you're doing. You prove, but then you come to a place of more well-rounded, normal, I don't know if that's the right word to use it, but just more acceptance of like the extremities dial down a little bit, and you go more into the we'll never be normal, because I think normal is unhealthy and unhappy, but I mean there's a balance there, some kind of yin-yang balance, I believe, in like getting it. Don't go down the path of extremeness and stay there, because I mean there's good information from extreme people, but I don't want to be an extreme person the rest of my life. I just want to be a normal person within the remits of whatever we call normal. So
yeah, I think the main thing is fully embracing yourself. It depends what you define as extreme. I think the extreme can be defined as someone who is imbalanced, because again, some people would consider breatharianism extreme.
Right. Yes.
So and yet to some people it's just normally. It's just a natural drawing, which you're naturally drawn to it, because you understand the peace and the serenity which can be achieved from it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about let's transition into what you believe in terms of breatharianism? What is breatharianism, and do you think it's possible, and are you moving towards that, or is it something you just know is real, like it's true?
Personally, I just have an inner knowing that it's real. I can't. It's something that you can't explain. When you have certain inner knowings, and you've just been that if this wasn't a dream, then sure, breatharianism is fake and it's not possible. And yet, because when you start to understand that this is both, that this is a dream that we're in, and that breatharianism, and again, breatharianism is a unifying of the higher self and the lower self. And it's just the aligning of all the bodies. So and you can get to I believe that you can get to the point, and again, Salvador would probably agree with me, that you can get to the point where you don't need to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. No need for sleep. Like it.
And at that point, where if you have no need to sleep, then to me that proves that you don't need to have that contact with your higher self in your dream worlds, in your lucid dreaming. And so, and obviously so your physical body and your higher self are unified together, and you'll just the universe will naturally flow through you. And again, I have no desire. I try not to have any desire for anything, as in desiring non-desire. But, but that I don't see I don't see why I wouldn't go down that way, because I've abused my body so much that it's kind of calling for just at least the time period of long peace. And I think as the world goes, it seems more and more logical to move towards breatharianism, or at least, as I say, it's frugal living, because if you live in times of abundance, if you live minimally in times of scarcity, you will still have abundance.
Well, like that, yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's just remaining in the middle, and I have nothing against people who want to, like, I don't judge people for eating anything really. I do find that I know that a lot of vegans will attack me for or not like me for the fact of that I accept people for who they are. They can consume what they want, because you are not here to judge.
Yeah, I like that.
And you'll find that and it's the thing about the whole aged urine and all that, is that when you get on the fruit side and the aged urine, you get really quite imbalanced and unstable, and at that point you can be ramming it down people's throats, all the veganism and stuff.
Yeah,
But again,
there's levels of dogmatism.
Yeah,
there's levels of dogmatism I don't like about it. Like, yeah, I'm trying to get better at not judging people for what they do, what they eat, their practices, their beliefs, what the shapes of the earths, and all these kind of things. Because, God, man, there's just yeah, I really want to become that person that is reading the Tao Te Ching and really non-judgmental. And I'm trying my best. It's hard at times, but how do you help people? By accepting them for who they are, and then they're more likely to follow you, as opposed to like completely polarizing them and telling them, no, this is wrong what you do, and this is wrong. Like, it's not how to start a relationship with somebody.
Yeah, again, it's being the example, and it's if you are the example of how to live, of the most non-judgmental you can be. I don't fully believe that you can be fully non-judgmental, because otherwise, if you were perfect, you disappear.
Yeah, I hear that. I like that.
Yeah,
levitating, telepathic, and all that stuff. You'd be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you just return, and you'd return to the Tao, because you'd achieve perfect serenity. I think that's the one. It's the one thing that, like, especially my family can't appreciate, is that I know so much, and I cannot explain why I know it, and they just think, oh, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? I didn't get it from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like I don't listen. Like, I don't read a lot of books. I don't listen to a lot of stuff. It's a lot. Or I just have insight, feeling, and all that. And I've just, especially over the last few days, just learned to let things flow, and just when you let things flow, everything comes to you.
Yeah, flow, mindfulness, present moment awareness, being and not doing. Although doing until you become. It's okay to try, and then give at one point you won't need to try anymore, and you just become that person. So yeah, I like that. Go with the flow, serenity, and all that. By the way, quickly, who are you going to say that was a compassionate person? Because you did say, I agree with you. No one, if you're really compassionate, completely, you just fly off. But was you going to say Buddha or something as a person that's really compassionate, a good example? I think you were going to tell us somebody.
Oh, well, Buddha's a fantastic example, and in fact, Buddha's a good example of the balance with aged urine. Because he wasn't saying that you need to be on raw roots and all that. It was just, you take your alms, the cooked food or whatever it was that you were given.
Yes.
And
Thanks.
So you have that supposed possible acidic food, and then it's balanced out with the alkaline medicine of aged urine.
Boom. So yeah, so you're right. So the Buddha did say aged urine, but he also said alms, and he was implying he was eating cooked foods. Now I think he wasn't eating obesely and like over the top, but he was eating crap foods, I'm pretty sure, and he still managed to achieve that perfect state of serenity, which tells me. And by the way, my Vipassana meditation is also, unfortunately, I mean, it's given me a harsh lesson, because I was dry fasting a lot of the time during it, and I found the Vipassana meditation that the Buddha did way more powerful than the food and being empty. Even it was a shocker for me. I really got disheartened a little bit by fasting. I'll come back into a nice place of it, but I know that the body's energy is, and vipassana, there's things above the density of level of physical. If you think about the physical body, you've got physical, emotional, spiritual. The physical foods can only affect the physical, which affects everything, yes, but I think the others are a level higher. I think emotional health is higher, spiritual health is higher than the physical. So yeah, you're right, cooked foods, it's the end of the world. I don't know, I don't think it is.
But it's basically, you need to be at you can be at a vibration which is higher than anything which goes into the body. And it's again, it's the yin yang. It's, if you can have a bodily state which vibrates so high that you could eat meat, like cooked meat, which is dead, which I've had, which I have eaten, and it makes me feel awful. It gives me panic attacks, all that. So
Wow.
for me personally, it's a really bad thing. But and it just shows that my body is not in a very, it has been in a very bad state. But you'll drop, but your body's vibration will be so strong that it'll bring you back to center point.
Yeah. So I like what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's, in fact, it was a thing which I just came to mind that when I was talking to my wife, and is that you think of yourself as a pendulum, and the weight of your pendulum as well. Everyone has different weights to their pendulum, and it allows them to swing back and forth from the middle. And so and again, if the heavier you are in your spirit, so the more power you have, you will swing. You can swing one way, but your counter swing will not. So you'll swing one way far, but your counter swing will. You'll basically slow down quicker and get to the center point quicker.
Right. Whereas I see. Yeah.
If you're very light and all loosey goosey and not very, you don't know yourself very well, you'll be this little lightweight which just flies around like nothing else and can't find stability.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's a really good analogy too, for you to understand. You should return to center very quickly in a healthy body, but if you're not, then that's where chronic acute diseases come from. Chronic diseases come from you're not returning to center almost. You're eating the wrong foods, not doing the right physical health protocols, which are important. You can't go back to center. It takes too long, and sometimes you die if it doesn't go back to center. Boom, you are gone. Yeah, I feel like you can. This is what my bias that I've heard people say, and I really like it. Like someone said recently on a Facebook post of mine that the perfect yogi could have poison from a vaccine inside him. And I don't know if you saw that. And that poisonous vaccine, like the coronavirus, say the antidote, that's poisonous. If you take it in, the perfect yogi can just expel that straight away. And it's nothing to worry about. So there's no poisons out there if you're really perfect with your energy systems that you need to worry about. I mean, that's not us, but that's an ideal that I like to keep my mind.
Yeah, and again, it's, don't think of it as an ideal. Just think of it as a path, because again, it's one thing that you've got to try and let go of is that there's good and bad, that there's better or worse. You just got to accept your path and fully embrace it and be yourself. I think that's the one thing that, I mean, I had suicidal depression for a year and a half when I crashed, and that was probably a big thing as to why my liver got even worse and worse. But when you've gone through, again, people are like, oh, how did you get to the point which you got to? It's like, I would not wish it upon anyone. And yet, like, and then other people are there just saying, well, again, you just got to embrace your haters. Because everyone's going to hate you for where you are, for knowing yourself, for being yourself. That you can't escape having haters. So all you can do is laugh.
What's that Gandhi saying? First they laugh at you, they ridicule you, then they laugh at you, no, mock you, they ridicule you, then they laugh at you, then they join you, or something. Eventually, eventually, I mean, within years, decades, and generations, you'll find that those that hated were wasting their time and realized they were wrong. It's not that we want to prove anything to them. It's just they were wrong, you were right, we were right, and it's okay not to prove yourself. But you don't, and also another thing, you don't need the truth. I feel doesn't need to be defended. Often, it just is what it is, and that's the place where you need to get at. And that's one thing I've certainly got good at over time. If people on Facebook in real life, if people disagree with what I'm doing and what I say, then okay, it's okay. Don't need to defend yourself.
That Gandhi saying reminds me of a post which I made on Facebook, which was a time will come when people who took the piss out of you they took the piss out of you for drinking your piss, and the time will come around for us to laugh at them when they're sick.
Yeah.
Oh, we won't. But it's just I don't know how to put it actually, but it's so true that what goes around comes around. People don't understand it, but you have the piss taken out of you for taking the piss, and that's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, this has been Jason, it's been a wonderful interview. I'd like to give you the opportunity to plug your YouTube channel and your Facebook, but also can you give us like anything that I didn't cover that's like or even like conclusions that you'd like to end with, but you can go deep with us on something that I didn't cover with you.
I suppose I think we pretty much covered the majority of it. I think the biggest thing for most people to do is to let go of controlling, let go of trying to force detox, because when you have the patience and let things go, things will flow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As you see.
Yeah.
But no, just stick to simplicity and stick and read or listen to the Tao Te Ching, because that is what brought me in the peace.
Sure. Who's the author of that? Confucius? Is that Confucius?
Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu, yeah, okay, Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. You see, I tried to read it, but I wasn't ready at that stage of my life a few years ago, so maybe it was quite complicated. I think I might understand it, as happens with books, that it doesn't make sense sometimes, and then you read it like, oh, it makes sense now. So I need to reread that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Jason, for being with us. Can you give us your YouTube channel, please? Because I know you do a lot of good work on your YouTube channel, and I don't think enough people watch it, in my opinion, because there's a lot of good stuff on there. So tell us what your channel is.
My channel is Mr. V, MYSSTERV, so mystery. And my Instagram is mystery.of.mrv as well.
Cool. Do you post a lot on Instagram? I don't think I have you on Instagram. Are you posting on there quite a bit?
I have been, yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Little philosophies and insights which come to my mind.
Awesome.
And also any updates on like fasting and stuff which I've been doing. And just Jason Venables on Facebook.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for being us, Jason. I'd like to say just before we go that you're an absolute warrior and a star, and thank you for being a part of the community. And I got much of insight from you listening to this about your story and understanding of how you can do all the things that you're doing and what the kind of the trivials and the tribulations and the bad and the good that you've been through. Not to judge, but so I appreciate that, and keep doing what you're doing, brother. And I hope to I'll meet up with you definitely at some point this year. And yeah, keep rocking the world. And everyone, thanks for watching. This was Listening Health Harry with Jason Venables.